Welcome back, YouTube. Hey, it's Greg here from GregsTutoringNYC at gmail.com. So we're going to do some more questions from this year's SHSAT Handbook, the 2020-24 Handbook. I'm going to do what I'm going to call geometric scale. This year there's a bunch of scale questions. There's been in the past. They normally, in my opinion, have been 9-centric, but they seem to be withering towards the SAT 8 as well. So hey, let's do some. So we did another one where it had, let me see, I've written down here. I did scale. I think it was only on the form B. So there's a few I'm going to call it geometric scale here. I'm either going to do them together here or split them into, there's 2 questions. All right, so the first is going to be question 93. So let's go to that. And let me bring that up on my tablet here. Okay, so the side length of square S is shorter than the side length of square T by 1 centimeter. So I can draw them side by side. I can put an S here and maybe put T here to visualize it. What I'm going to do though is basically draw them inside of each other. All right, so we can try to get a sense of the scale, if you will. So we have square S. Okay, I'm going to build it inside the other one. So let me change the color of that to make it clear that we have square T. Does a color match T here? T, 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 T. No, it doesn't. So let me just make it red. So I'm basically going to build another square outside of here. Whoops, that didn't work. Which, if you will, and it's behind it. So I'm going to just draw this dotted, meaning the blue and the red line are on top of each other, okay? And of course, this whole red, the whole red, not just the red you see, is going to be T as a whole unit. So let me just change this back to blue so that we're uh, not saying that everything after that is red. So it's just the area of square S, this guy here, the area of S is equal to 9. Okay, so we could kind of really stop there and say, oh, the side length here must be 3, and the side length here must be 3. Okay, so it says, what is the difference in square centimeters between the area of square T and the area of square S? Well, there's one more thing we left out, which is the side length of square T by 1 centimeter. All right, so that means this is 1, and this over here is 1 as well. All right, so that means T basically is a 4 by 4, right? Because that means the length of this is going to be 4, and the length of that is, whoops, why did I write 3? The length of that is going to be 4, and the length of the other one, which means the area of T is going to be equal to 16, okay? So it says, what is the difference between the area of T and the area of S? It's going to be 16 minus 9. Okay, and that's just going to be equal to 7. All right, so 93 is going to be B. Let me see how long this is running so far. This is going for 3 minutes. So let's try to tack on 100 to this because it's another one. So what I'm trying to do is group all the questions together. Sometimes the grouping that I'm doing here doesn't conform exactly. So that's why I'm calling this geometric scale. This was not really scale like map, doing something on a map, but it's comparing the two of these to each other just through subtraction. You know, this could have easily been a ratio question where it's asking you what is the ratio between the two of them. It would have been 16 to 9 at that point, all right? 16 colon 9 would have been the answer if it was something like that. All right, so let me go to 100. Let me make sure. I think it's 100. Yes, 100. All right, right there. There we go. So it says a certain square puzzle has an area of 64 square inches. So let's draw that guy. And it's often good to do visuals of these, even when they're simple. So we have the area, and I'll just call this P, or square puzzle. The area of the square puzzle is equal to 64 square inches. We know, because it's a square, that this has to be 8. and this has to be, because 8 times 8 is 64, so we're up to here, and it says there's a cubic block, so we'll draw that as well. And again, the visual is always worth it. Yes, it takes time to do this, but I'd rather take time to do this and do other stuff fast than do this all in my head and make a mistake, right? So the numbers here are easy enough to do that. With a cubic volume, so the volume of this cube, let's call it cube C, has a volume of 64 cubic inches. So you should know that the cube root of 64, with a little 3 there, is going to be 4, because 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. So that means the so-called length in the front is 4, the so-called width on the side here is 4, and the so-called height over here is 4. Okay, so it says, what is the ratio of, as follows, the length of the side of the puzzle? So that's, we're going to have that length, and this word 2 means colon, so that's the length of the puzzle, to the length of the side of the block. So that's going to be the length of the block. All right, so we know the length of the other one is 8, and then colon, and the length of the block is going to be 4. So 8 to 4 is the same as 8 over 2, okay? Sorry, over 4. And if we simplify that, now we could simplify it, just say it's 2, and then nothing matches over here. So 2 is the same as 2 over 1, and that's another way to simplify 8 over 4. It's 2 over 1. All right, so that gives us H. All right, and that's what they're looking for there for that kind of a question. All right, it's important that when we did this, we said the length of this thing, I'm going to call that number 1, to the length of the second thing, number 2. We have to write that as the first thing, colon, the second thing, right? That's why I wrote this down here. We have to match that. All right, so that's some of these scale things. Why is it the scale? We're just comparing it back and forth. I had no other better category to kind of fit this into, so that's where I stuck it. And by the way, there's going to be more of these coming, so